everyone! Today I have for you a magical pumpkin house escape room, sort of an escape room. We are going to build up a pumpkin house, design an escape room-ish with some redstone challenges, and discover the story of its mysterious resident. Alright, so before you can investigate, let's start building this pumpkin. We're just going to start off with a world edit command because it'll be really fast, and here we are, not that you can see it, I guess. Good start. We have our pumpkin house, but we have to give it some personality. So I want to bring in several different orange blocks. This will make the building look less flat and less boring, and we'll do vertical patterns to mimic the vertical patterns on pumpkins. I don't really know how to explain what I'm talking about, but moving on. In this world, you are a tiny fairy detective, and you have just received an order from your captain to investigate strange noises coming from the pumpkin house. You'll have a letter when you start, and it'll read, "Dear Detective, you have been recommended by your captain for a special assignment. We have gotten reports from the Pumpkin Patch neighborhood of strange noises coming from the house of Ivy Woods. Most likely connected, no one has seen Ivy Woods for 8 days. Neighbors have told us that Ivy sometimes disappears for a few days, gathering materials from the forest or working on projects at home, so no one thought anything was amiss at first. Please investigate the home of Ivy Woods to discover the source of the strange noises, and see if you can find a lead on where Miss Woods might have gone. Sincerely, Asher Cliff, Chief of Fairy Police." We're going to move this stem so it's not at the top, because that really doesn't make too much sense, because we want it connected to the vine, and if you look at a pumpkin patch with the pumpkins are connected to the vine, this looks much more natural. I want this build to be bright, cozy, and crazy, or at least a little offbeat. I want it to look lived in. We're going to lean into cottagecore a bit. I want there to be different house elements coming off of the pumpkin, so it's not just a round orange blob. There'll be more things to look at to make it interesting. It's going to be a bit asymmetrical, like the pumpkin has been here for a while, and maybe it's not necessarily falling apart, but the wood beams are warping from age. We want to give it lots of character. Pumpkin vines have these huge leaves that I want to bring in. They're very floppy. They're not going to work great for creating a cozy shaded area, which is what I originally wanted. Though I guess since we're dealing with fairies, maybe they just propped it up with a twig or something. Anyway, I'll add in a few of these big leaves. We're doing it with a very feel it in your heart mindset, because they're just kind of floppy, and hopefully it'll turn out well. So now we need to add in a bit more than windows and a door. So let's add a little offshoot that's built onto the top, kind of like a second story. So fall's pretty much over, and I don't know about where you are, where you're watching this from, but by me, all of the leaves have fallen off the trees and are brown, and we've had a few light and very short snowfalls. So this autumn video is kind of a little late in the season, but I was really wanting to try out my idea and use my tall autumn trees that I built earlier this month. So thank you for clicking on my video and coming along with me. I think we should add in a little farm. That makes sense, right? A cozy fairy house would definitely have a little garden, I think. All right, there we go. It's very cute. I added more details to really give your eye a lot to take in. And now I think it feels lived in. I might make a few more adjustments as we go, but let's move into the inside. So we have our interior space. Let's start decorating. First, I want a huge fireplace. This is going to be a main focus area and part of our puzzle that will reveal the mysterious noise. We're going to keep an asymmetrical feeling from outside and bring it in here a bit. We also need a kitchen. The space isn't too big, but I really want to make sure it's packed full of stuff. So I'm going to fiddle around for a bit, and then I'll reveal what I hope will be a chaotic house. Ta-da! So there is a lot to look at, but it doesn't feel too overwhelming, I guess. I don't know, maybe you guys feel overwhelmed since you're looking at it for the first time and you're like, oh my goodness, Jade, why did you do that? But we have a lot of plants dangling around. I found that because the walls were rounded, it was kind of hard to decorate anything above about 3 blocks. So I filled in the space with lots of plants, and I used different kinds to kind of get that, oh my goodness, response from you, the fairy detective who walks in. We also have rugs and things hanging on the wall and decorations all over. I have a few redstone elements around that you can investigate, but don't necessarily do anything. I want some false leads to kind of pull your attention away. Oh, I almost forgot. We also have upstairs with a little, and I do mean little, bedroom and some storage. We have kitchen-y materials and food in the kitchen area. On this lectern, we have just a short journal entry that was penned from our missing fairy, and it reads, "I've gotten so close, the recipe is almost perfective." And you'll say, how odd, what could she mean? And also in a book is a clue that will help you get to the next part of the puzzle, which will be hidden in this bookshelf here. Now this reads, "A triple sunny side down." Now, as long as you're familiar with the term egg sunny side up, you should be okay to figure out what it is I'm referring to, but if you've never heard that phrase before, I hope you'll still be able to figure out the clue because of the triple and the down. So hidden around the house are 3 turtle eggs in item frames. By finding and rotating all of the eggs to the upside down position, you'll unlock the next room. And guess where that secret passage is? You got it, the fireplace. So solving this puzzle will open this slot here, like so, and you'll have to climb down the ladder into the dark. Spooky. All right, I know it's not really spooky, but humor me, will you? It's not very much yet, but like above, we're gonna do some work. I want this space to echo the upstairs a bit in style, but I want it to be a little bit more clean and tidy, so you feel like you've discovered something different. Though, like I said, I still want it to relate to the upstairs, and I still want there to be lots for you to look at. And I have one more surprise to add after we decorate, but the decorations and details first. I've only done one escape room, though I'd love to do more because it was really fun. I want to try and channel the same sort of feelings that I had when doing that into this build, which were, wow, there's a lot to look at and a lot to explore, and I'm a little confused, but having fun. Okay, here we have our decorated basement, at least the first draft. So I want to use a key lock for this cell, which is something I've wanted to implement into a build for a long time, so I'm very excited. But I'm going to do the redstone off camera to spare you the long and tedious process of my redstone building. All right, I have it set it up like this. I've been through many different scenarios, and I've ended up with this here. It's not what I originally planned at all, but that's okay. We're moving forward. I still have a key lock that you will need to find, and I'll show you where I've hidden the key. There's not going to be a clue to the key. You're just going to have to figure it out, and I have it hidden in the front entry area, right over here. I don't know if you noticed anything when I came down the ladder, but I'm pretty excited about this hiding spot because it's not, once you see it, you're like, wow, that's really obvious, but generally people don't look up, so I think it'll be pretty good. In the bookshelves, you'll find a potion recipe book and a few diary entries. These diary entries will reveal that this fairy was experimenting with dangerous plants and trying to create a magical potion that would give her more power. However, it has backfired, and we are left with the source of the mysterious noise. It's the fairy that's been transformed into a zombie villager. Oh, why? Alright, now if you're playing this map and are familiar with Minecraft, you will instantly recognize, as you're exploring the upper floor, the sound of the zombie villager. But hopefully the unfolding story will help keep things interesting. The last step is to cure our poor misguided fairy. As the detective, you were supposed to find out what happened to the fairy, so you did. And hopefully you will have enough kindness in your heart to save the fairy and not kill her, because I have given you in the house everything that you need to solve, well, to cure her. So there's going to be one more diary entry in her cell that tells you how she's worried about the effect of her most recent potion and how it's affecting her. So she's spending the night in the cell, but she suspects the answer to her problem involves a golden apple. So once you put the key in the lock, the zombie villager will be free to chase you around, and that kind of raises the stakes. But if you've noticed earlier, there are potion ingredients hidden around the main level, so you'll have everything you need, and there will be instructions hidden as well. And then I'm going to put up the crafting recipe, or like the hint of a crafting recipe of a golden apple on the wall in the cell, as if our fairy was drawing it out. And we'll see how many hints I leave around, because I'm kind of torn between approaching this as just an escape room and relying on many Minecraft players' knowledge. I feel like most people know how to make a golden apple, but I still think it would be fun for the build on its own to have the hint of that. I think that'll be good. So once you've scoured the pumpkin house for the potion ingredients, then you'll be able to make a potion of weakness and a golden apple, and you'll be able to cure the villager, and then ta-da, that's that. a cozy pumpkin escape room with a creepy basement. This was really fun to work on, even though it's kind of the end of fall, but I think it turned out pretty well, and I'd definitely be interested in making more escape rooms in the future. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really glad you watched it. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!